Vlog number 231, Saturday, July 13th, 2024, 8 o'clock a.m. Now you may have noticed it is not 8 a.m. right now. That is because this is going to be a completely different vlog. I'm going to be explaining things, what I did in Las Vegas, including pictures, including videos, giving you a real sense of what I did. So you probably won't see me very much. I'm going to be including a lot of pictures, and I'm going to go into very high detail on what I did just so I can remember it and look back at this vlog and be like, oh yeah, I remember that now, because I wrote everything down as well when I was in Las Vegas. So I'm going to get right into this thing. As I said yesterday, the plane got canceled. It got moved to 12 o'clock the next day, so we had to stay in a motel room. We stayed at the Staybridge. When I got up at 8 o'clock, I was watching the Wimbledon's women's final. I don't remember who it was, but I'm pretty sure like the 25 seed won, so it was a pretty big upset. So that's what I was watching morning when I got up. At some point before I left, I went down and looked at the game room. Again, the photo will be on the screen. Had a lot of stuff, and it had a ping pong table, foosball table, and an air hockey table, so there's a lot of stuff there. But 9:39 we left the motel, so an hour and 39 minutes after I got up. At 10 o'clock we entered the parking lot of the airport. 10:05 we parked. 13 minutes later, 10:18 we went through the security. 11:53 we scanned the pass to get on the plane. Then we sat down on the plane at 11:57. I was on the right side of the plane. I remember we were like 5 rows from the front, but we had to put our suitcases way in the back because there's no room. At some point between 11:57 and 12:43, I didn't write down, they opened the door again because they had to do paperwork and we couldn't leave. Yes, we sat there for like an hour. At 12:43, they finally closed the door. We started leaving 2 minutes later at 12:45, so we got on the plane at 11:57. And almost an hour later, we finally started moving at 12:45. At 12:57, we took off, but we landed an hour later at 1:46. It was a 2-hour flight, so of course, the time difference, it only was an hour. The plane stopped moving at 1:50. And then we had to take a ton of Ubers this trip, which I was not excited about. So 2:09, got to the Uber waiting area, got picked up by some guy that didn't really speak English all that great, which was the story of the day. It took 20 minutes to get to the Mirage. 2:33, got to the Mirage, entered at 2:34. We started standing in line at 2:38. I remember we originally were standing in like the VIP line, so one of the like usher guys came up, was like, can you help you, sir? Guest services, it was guest services. The guy was like, how can we help you? We're like, oh, we're waiting to get in line, and we were in the complete wrong lines. We had to go wait. We started standing in line at 2:38. That's 5 minutes later at 2:43, and we got done checking out at 2:48. 8 minutes later, we checked into the room, and the room was awesome. I'll probably show, I don't know if I took any pictures, but I took a video. And then at 2:56, when we got in the room, we just sat there trying to figure out what we were going to do next. We finally decided on a plan for the next couple of days. And for dinner that day, we were going to go to Rainforest Cafe. So we sat in there until 3:17, and then we started walking to the Rainforest Cafe. Left the Mirage 5 minutes later. At 3:25, we entered the Caesars Palace Forum shops. We honestly had no clue what we were doing. At 3:44, we entered the Flamingo. So I don't know how we crossed the street. Now that I'm looking back at it, we went into the Forum shops. I do remember crossing the street. Now, we did that after we left Caesar's Palace, or the Forum shops, that is. 3:49, got to the Cromwell. 4 o'clock, we went into Planet Hollywood. We left Planet Hollywood at 4:11, and then we went back into it through a different way because we didn't know where to go. That was at 4:13. We entered Rainforest Cafe at 4:17. I didn't think we were going to, our appointment thing was scheduled at 4:30, so I didn't think we were going to be able to get in early, but we did, so that was nice. Got in there. When I was sitting in there, we sat on a booth in the far back, and I don't think I took a photo of it, but where I was sitting, there was a window right in front of me, and it had a perfect view of the MGM Grand sign. It was perfect view. And during that time, while I was waiting for my food, I also found out that Trump got shot, so that was the big news that was going on during that moment. We ended up leaving at 5:24. We then stopped at Walgreens at 5:31 because my sister had to get something there. We went down the stairs. Walgreens was double story. 5:38 we left Walgreens, and then we just started walking. 5:46 we entered Paris, and then 6:01 Bally's, which is now the Horseshoe. Went into the arcade at 6:07. There was a prize I saw in there that was literally, there was nothing around it, so all I had to do was put $1 in, drop the thing, and it would have pushed the prize right into the prize chute. But unfortunately, it didn't work for some reason, which was unfortunate. The claw machine got stuck halfway down. After that, 6:18, we left the building. I went to the monorail kiosk, got the monorail thing, got on the monorail at 6:34. The area we were at was so unbelievably hot, and I could not wait to get on the monorail. And the monorail, there was so many people on the monorail, and there were the people that were like driving me crazy. I couldn't stand them, so that was unfortunate. But went by the Sphere. We got off 12 minutes later, 6:46 at the Westgate. Yes, I really wanted to go to the Westgate, so we did that. 7:21, we left the Westgate. So about 35 minutes later, the Mariners were playing the Angels at this time. We went to see the Westgate Sportsbook. It was huge, and they had the Mariners game right on the screen, which was very, very cool. The Uber came and got us, and we left at 7:27. So we were waiting for 6 minutes outside the Westgate entrance. 7:35, we got to the Strat. We were gonna go to the top, like the observation deck, but it was closed because there was lightning and thunder. Believe it or not, it was a downpour. It was absolutely crazy how much rain there was. I've never seen that much rain in Las Vegas before. We entered the Strat at 7:36. We ended up going to McDonald's at 7:51, and a funny story about McDonald's is the reason I wanted to go to McDonald's, I didn't even know there was a McDonald's, but I saw two people with Hi-C oranges within a McDonald's bag walking towards us, like, hey, I want a Hi-C orange. So we went to McDonald's, and when you went to the kiosk thing, it said Hi-C orange was out of stock or whatever, so I was like, I'll just get a Coke. So we went up to the counter, got our 3 cups, but then we went over to the machine, and there was Hi-C orange there, and it was working, so that was awesome. So I got some Hi-C orange, and then walked outside at 7:59, took a photo in front of the Las Vegas sign, but it was raining so much, we ended up going back into the Strat at 8:03, and then 8:05, we left again, waited for the Uber. 8:13, the Uber came and we left. That guy dropped us off at Caesar's Palace at 8:29. Walked in there, went to Cheesecake Factory at 8:40. I got a red velvet cheesecake that I still have to this day. 8:43, we got it. 8:48, we stopped in a Las Vegas store that was right outside of it. We left there 8 minutes later at 8:56. No, the Las Vegas store, it also had candy in it and stuff, so my mom got some chocolate wafer things. I didn't get anything, of course, but, I mean, I could have if I wanted to. But we left at 8:56, like I said. Left the Forum Shops altogether at 9:08, and then we walked to the Mirage because it wasn't too far away. Entered at 9:11. We got into the Mirage, but then we left the Mirage and ended up just going outside to watch the volcano because I wanted to get there early. Got a perfect spot, watched that at 10 o'clock. At 10:04, that ended. Walked back into the Mirage after it ended, we walked back into the Mirage at 10:15. We stopped at the store that's right inside the Mirage that sells a ton of stuff like snacks and drinks and stuff. That was at 10:15. Got back into the room at 10:21. Sat in there till 11:15. At 11 o'clock, we watched the fountains go off from the room, which was cool. At 11:15, I left. I mean, everybody went separate ways. My dad went to some random bar place for the entire night. I walked all over the place, which is what I did most of the trip. My mom and sister just kind of stayed in the room. So at 11:35, I got to the Bellagio. Every 15 minutes, the Bellagio fountains go off, so I watched it at 11:45. So I was there 10 minutes early, got a nice spot. I then walked into the Cosmopolitan 10 minutes later at 11:59. Left there at 12:07. Walked into Planet Hollywood 12:13. Left 3 minutes later, 12:16. Walked into the Flamingo 10 minutes later. Left there 3 minutes later again. And then at 12:35, I entered the Mirage, and at 12:45, I entered the room. When I got back, the reason I didn't want to go back was because my dad was still out, and I didn't want to be back first. So unfortunately, I had to. I saw Ghost Adventures was on TV. So I started watching that, but then I had to take a shower, so I took a shower, got done with that about 1:15, and then I went to bed. It was like 1:30, 2 a.m. when my dad finally got back. He got us poker chips in the middle of the night. That's why he was, I saw him coming up to the room, but he was down there for like 40 minutes after that, so I was like, what is he doing? Turns out he's looking to get poker chips. We got some poker chips, which is awesome. He came up, and then everybody finally went to bed, and that was the night. First night in Vegas. I know that was a lot of talking by me, and it might not be the most exciting video, but I think when I rewatch this in 2 years, I'm going to remember exactly what I did, and with the pictures included, I'm going to remember this trip to Las Vegas a lot better than most. So that's going to do it for this vlog. I know it was a little bit shorter vlog and a much different one, but I really didn't vlog all that much. I mean, I didn't vlog at all because I was in Las Vegas, obviously, so that's what I did in day 1 of Las Vegas. Next vlog will be day 2.